Welcome back to Sports Inc. Before we get in this week's picks, let's go through because we did something different for our preview this year. We broke it down by conference. So let's go through and make our quick picks for conference champions. Let's start with the Southwest Suburban Conference. Who do you like?
I like Bolingbrook this year. I think them and Lakeway East really battle back and forth every year, and I just think that it's just Bolingbrook's year. I mean, it's just their turn to take it this year. But either one of those teams, those two are the far and away the top teams in the conference.
Yeah, Lincoln East beat them last year. I think Lincoln East is going to get them again this year. I'm picking Lincoln East in that conference. What about the CSL North and South?
Maine South.
Maine South is definitely the best.
I think Maine South could win both sides of that conference. Really, I don't see anybody touching them this year in conference play.
Yeah, I agree with you there. The CSL North's up for grabs. That Deerfield won last year, and Mike Sanderly, near the guy, he was kind of against Deerfield this year. I'm gonna agree though. We don't know too much about CSL North, so the South though is Maine South, and that's pretty much here to stay. You like Westmont in the I-8 small division?
Yeah, I do. I think I'm gonna butcher his name, but Jean Paterick, and like they have him coming back, and they have their quarterback back, and for a team of small guys, I really liked what they did last year.
It's hard to beat Wilmington though, right?
Oh, real hard.
Yeah, I don't think they beat Wilmington, but I think they will be in a big jam for second place there. They got Seneca and even Lyle. They could all finish around second place in the conference. Southwest Prairie.
Plainfield Central. That's my pick right here. I'll stick with it. I think Manuka is going to be a player in that, but again, we don't know too much about them with the new coaching staff yet. So I say the Wildcats.
I agree. I think Plainfield Central is the team to beat in there, and then the West Suburban. Is Downer South going to hold off Addison Trail this year? Addison Trail got them last year.
I think they will. I mean, I think Downer South. Their first year forever without a Williams in the backfield. They Josh, his brother. But I think they'll be fine and they'll bounce back. This is possibly Coach Belskis' last year. So depending on if he announces that, I know he's retiring from teaching, but he told us he's definitely going to coach next year. Where if the school chooses to bring a teacher in or whatever, then he'll go coach somewhere else. If they allow it, he'll consider it and then possibly stay around Downers. If that's something that's decided partway through the year, I think that'll really even change everything up and fire those troops up if he decides that that this is it for him with the Mustangs.
And then the ESCC, Joliet Catholic. A lot of people forget they weren't part of that co-championship last year with Marist and Nazareth, but this year I think we both agree that they're going to be a team to beat as long as they can get that defense straightened up. Because last year they gave up way too many points, and that's going to be the key to the attack this year. Let's move on to the picks. For this week, let's lead off with Bennett. One win all last year. They got Washington, not the Peoria Washington though. So this one might be
a winnable game. I don't know anything about Washington, so hey, let's stay home and take Bennett.
Hopefully it's not the Redskins because I don't think they beat RG3. But I'm gonna agree with you here. I'm just gonna pick Bennett. Hopefully they can get off to a good start this year because the ESCC is not gonna give them many wins. I don't think. We got Lockport at Downers North, and no big game for both teams here. They played each other last year. Lockport beat them pretty good.
I'm gonna take the Porters again. I think the second year in that triple wing offense with Coach McKillop, I think they're getting better. I mean, Billy Reed's gone. They got to find a way to replace him at quarterback. But that offense, those tailbacks were in it last year. They're in it this year. They'll be all right.
Downers North's breaking a sophomore quarterback, a big 6'7" kid, I believe Edwards is his last name, and see how he does. But his first start year as a sophomore, you wanted to be against a team that did make the playoffs and advance to the second round last year. That's what Lockport did. And Lockport, I don't think Lockport's going to be as strong as they've been last year, but I still think that they'll get this one done. Westinghouse against Niles West.
Take Niles West. I mean, they had that superb returner receiver, and so he should be good for a few touchdowns there.
Jeremiah Jordan, yeah,
yes.
Mike Snyder, then he loves that guy. He can't talk about him enough. So I gotta go with Niles West and probably a romp there over Westinghouse. We got Plainfield North at Bradley Bourbonnais. It was Bradley Bourbonnais struggled a little bit last year, and Plainfield North beat them at home. Will they win on the road?
Oh yeah, the hardest thing about that game is going to be the bus trip for the Tigers.
Yeah, Plainfield North. They got the returning quarterback, returning running back. They're gonna be forced to be reckoned with in the conference. I think they're gonna start off strong today or this week. Plainfield South at Bolingbrook, one of the big games of the week.
Yeah, on paper maybe. I don't see any. The Cougars lost everybody, and the Raiders are bringing back everybody offensively. And even last year it was two high-powered offenses play each other. With the South didn't have that much defense. This year that Bolingbrook offense is back, and the South offense isn't. So I think it could get ugly.
Plainfield South hung around more than you would think based on that score last year. They couldn't finish drives. And Bolingbrook was finished drives, especially on 3rd and 4th down. They're automatic. So I think this is going to be. I think Plainfield South's defense is going to surprise you a little bit, and they're gonna make Bolingbrook work for it like they did last year. I still think Plainfield South will lose to Bolingbrook. Probably end up being by 30 points or so, but I think they're going to avoid the 40-point rule, and I think they're going to show some promise for the future. What about Rich Central and Joliet Central? This is a chance for Joliet Central to get their first win
and I'm taking it
since the 70s.
I'm taking it. I think Brett Boyer is coming in and got a great idea with the 2-platoon system. The kids won't be tired. They're going to be in the game late, maybe down, but they'll be in the game late as opposed to last year when they're getting blown out. They'll be in it late. They'll put a drive together, and I say they win the game within the last 3 or 4 minutes.
You think they have to win this game, right?
I think they have to.
This is kind of a must game for them. You don't want to be looking for that first win later in the season.
This sets the tone. I mean, you get out of the way, now all of a sudden, some of those other games where you're not thinking, oh boy, can we actually win it? You're saying, hey, we can win this. And it could change the whole scope of the season for them guys. So.
You know what? I'm sorry. You have to win a game before I can pick you. I'm going to go with Rich Central on this one just because...
it's our first difference so far.
Yeah, and I need to get an early lead on him too, so... Maine East at Schurz. This is.
I picked Maine East last year. I'm picking Maine East this year.
Maine East starts with 2 Chicago public schools. They lost last year. This is a game that they need to win, get off to a good start. I think they could start off 2-0 this year, and I'm going to pick Maine East as well. I think they're going to be a improved team this year from last year.
I think Coach Gabe Coors had the boys all ready to go again.
Yep. With all their sons too, they're playing Team 4 of them. Notre Dame against Wilmot, Wisconsin. Good luck on this one.
I picked against Notre Dame half the year last year. Every time I picked against them, they proved me wrong. So I'll pick them this year. Besides, I don't like Wisconsin, so.
Turning over a new leaf, picking Notre Dame.
Yes, I am.
I'm gonna agree with you on this one. I'm picking Notre Dame, and this is gonna be a tough game for them, but I think they have a chance to come out on top and just start off with a good season. What about Thornridge or Joliet West? This is a must-win for Joliet West. They want to make the playoffs.
Tigers, they'll get it.
I agree with you. I think the Tigers will be an improved team, and this is a game that they'll take. Maine South at Warren.
Maine South is a blowout.
Yeah, I think Maine South's going to show how good they are and show how good their offense is going to be this year with an easy win early on. Another blowout, probably Plainfield Central Edmondson. I mean, Plainfield Central should roll in this one, right?
Who the heck's Edmondson? I never heard of this team until 3 years ago, and now they're playing.
Until last year, they played Central and
now they're playing all of our teams this year. So now Plainfield Central again, like Plainfield North, the toughest parts to be get up there on the bus.
Hey, they are playing at Edmonton's campus. That could be had no impact at all. Plainfield Central's going to win that one pretty easy. Romeoville at Hinsdale South. Hinsdale South, according to Mike Sandrolini, is an improved team this year. He's got him second in the West Suburban. Can Romeo get this one? I think they need it.
I don't think they're going to get it. I think they'll be okay. I think actually, as a change of pace, I think they're going to be better off in the conference this year because that conference, like we talked about, is going to be so bunch. I think they'll be doing better in the conference. I don't think they'll get this one. I'm taking Hinsdale South. With
week 2 coming up against Bolingbrook, they're going to need this game.
Yeah.
I think they're going to do it. Last year they're upset because last year they should have won that game. They kind of gave that game away. They feel. I'm going to take Romeoville in this one. Show some SPC pride. What about Downer South at South Elgin? I'll be making that long trip up to that one. Will that bus ride be more difficult in the game, or?
No, Downer South will win that one. Yes, I mean that'll be they're gonna break in their new quarterback, but Kalen Miller, the wideout, will be fine, and as long as they get the ball in the playmakers' hands, they'll win the game easy.
Easy, huh? I think it's gonna be a total toss-up game. I really do. I'm gonna pick Downer South because I think they'll pull away at the end. But it wouldn't surprise me at all to see South Elgin pull away with this one, especially down south trying to adjust to a lot of new faces on offense. Lyle at Manteno. Lyle get a win over their Interstate 8 big brother.
No. They split those schools to small and big, and I think year after year the big always dominates. Unfortunately,
it's a shame that they have to play the bigger schools. I mean, it really takes away their chances to playoffs.
So you split the conference for a reason to take away the big schools from the small schools, and yet what do? You put them together in the preseason to play each other. It makes no sense.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think Manteno's going to take this one, even though I think Lyle could give him a good game. We had the same situation with Westmont at Herscher. I mean, can Westmont get the job done?
No. I mean, when I told you last year, the first time I saw Westmont, Wilmington, Wilmington's cheerleading squad was bigger than Westmont's team, not size-wise, but more people than Westmont's team. I mean, when you have a small school and a small, it's just so hard to compete against, some of these teams. I mean, actually, go back to South, they have 50 seniors on their team. I think like teams like Westmont and Joliet Central, Wilmington, they're in like the Westmont's even lower. They're like the 35 to 40 kids total. Maine South has 50 seniors. It's so hard to compete against these big schools, and they won't compete against Herscher.
I'm disagreeing with you on this one. I think Westmont's going to take this one. They have a lot of key players coming back this year. Tim Dole at quarterback, and you said Jean Petrick coming back. I'm going to take Westmont in this one in a good ball game.
That's better. I can't tell.
Yeah. What about here's a game that we're not going to be able to go to, but it's a big time rivalry. Morris and Minooka.
Morris would be so good, but I would take the Indian Nation and Coach Forsythe's first game. I'm gonna pick Minooka.
I don't know too much about Morris this year, but I know that they're probably gonna win this game, even at Minooka.
They're gonna be good.
Yeah, Minooka. I don't. They've lost a lot of guys the last few years. I think it's finally a year they might need to rebuild this a little bit. I still think they might make the playoffs, but it might be a little bit rebuilding. I'll take Morris. Plainfield East and Matea Valley. Plainfield East lost Matea last year. First year before that, they beat one at Matea. What's going to happen this year?
Matea's going to win this one. Plainfield East, I think it's going to take some time. They have a young running back coming in, new quarterback. They have one receiver back with experience. Yeah, they have a hell of a lineman, to block, but it's taking some time to get behind Lancaster and kind of get feeling out there. So I think they'll be okay in conference, just like Romeoville. They'll be okay when those teams all kind of combine and they're playing teams like them. I think Matea's going to win this one though.
You got to watch out for the Rompas. They're going to be forces. They're going to come and make an impact. But I think it's going to be a good game. I just see Matea edging them out at the end. I think it's going to be a good one. But I think Matea's got a little bit more talent in the skill positions, I think, to get this job done. But Plainfield East is turning in the right directions, I think, especially their guys are starting to bulk up and they're starting to look like a big-time football offensive line, which I think will do them good in the SPC. And then the game of the week, ESPNU game. You're going to be at that game. You got Joliet Catholic at Providence. It's going to be the game of the year in the area. What's going to happen?
You got ESPNU. You got the new field turf coming into Providence. They're dedicating the new field. Everything's going on. And you know what? Providence better really enjoy the new field turf, better enjoy the atmosphere of ESPN, because once that ball's kicked off, it's the Ty Isaac show, baby. And, Providence is not going to be able to stop him. And Ty told us the other day he has some scenarios in mind. Wouldn't tell us what they were, but I have a good feeling that, 200 yards and, about 3-4 touchdowns is somewhere in his head. And I think that's about what he's going to do to him.
Providence has been not the same Providence that grew up in, I think, in our time when they were JCA, then they were state qualified team every year. They've been a little hit and miss of late, and I don't think they're going to have what it takes. It's going to be a raucous crowd, and I think Providence is going to score early and keep the crowd in the game. But if JCA scores first, gets that crowd out of the game, it's going to be Katie bar the door. It's going to be all over.
I think it's going to be a big atmosphere of bright lights, and there's one player on that field who's worthy of bright lights, and that's
Yeah, I'm going to agree. I'm going to take JCA in this one. I think it's going to be. I think Providence is going to keep it close, but I think JCA pulls out.
All right. Well, there we are for week 1, and we'll be back here at Giovanni's Restaurant in Crest Hill, week 2, doing our picks again. So join us then.
Thank you.